Today's video, we're gonna be doing an oil change on this bad boy right here. Ever since we got the car, you know, we've just been doing the outside detailing and the interior detailing, but today we're gonna be tackling the maintenance on the drivetrain on this car. If you haven't seen last video, go check it out. We restored these headlights right here. They are looking fantastic. What we're gonna be doing today is an oil change, obviously. So that's like the main thing I wanna do on this car because I didn't ask the last owner when the last time the oil was changed. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take care of that so I feel more comfortable with, you know, the drivetrain. Other than that, we will be doing a transmission fluid change as well, just so, you know, I have that peace of mind as well with the drivetrain. Coolant, I don't really think it'll be a problem if we don't change it. I opened up the coolant reservoir. Coolant looks pretty good, so that should be fine. The other thing we'll do is change the spark plugs and the coils on the spark plugs. That should be an easy job to do. It's not gonna be as tedious as this one right here. The seal can obviously take 16 spark plugs, and the coils, you know, a little bit of some work to get them out of the engine itself. But this should be a fairly easy one since it's a V6. We're gonna be using Caster Edge Euro car. This oil is very, very good. We're going with 5W40. I thought about going with 10W40, but with high mileage cars, 10W40 is best. But pretty much, if you think about it, it's the same thing. It's the only difference is just the startup in the beginning, just a cold startup. So I went with the 5W40. All right, we're gonna go ahead and just take off this cover right here. And we'll set it aside. This is the oil filter. And this is where we're gonna open first before we drain the oil out of the engine itself. So let me go ahead and open this real quick. If you use the wrench tool on this, just make sure you put a towel on this so it doesn't like scratch it up. All right, so for this job, all you're really gonna need is 2 of these 5 quarts, 5W40. You can pick whichever oil you wanna use. You're gonna need an oil filter. You're gonna need a 74 millimeter socket wrench to get the oil filter out of the engine. You're gonna need a 13 millimeter socket for the drain plug, and really an 8 millimeter socket for if you have any underneath panels covering the drain plug underneath your car. For this car, I do still have the pans underneath, so it's very clean underneath, so I'm gonna need that. So if you do have a pan underneath the car, this is it right here. There's gonna be 6 bolts, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. All you do is just take that off, and then you have access to the drain plug. So going underneath the car from the transmission pan, which is right here, to the engine oil, the drain plug is located right over here. So that's where you're gonna drain out of the engine, and then put the drain plug back in there after you're done. right, guys, so as the oil keeps draining, let's go ahead and get the filter out of here. This, you're probably gonna have to pry it back up again. Okay, you saw what I did there. I just pulled this rag off. Anyways, moving on. Hopefully I can get this by hand. There we go. Now, before we take this out, you want at least a rag or some sort of paper towel so the oil doesn't drip on your engine, to keep things clean. Okay, the filter on this one. Bruh. Oh, whoops. Poured some oil on the engine. Yeah, this is pretty bad. Also, like you can tell, this gasket is broken on here, which is not good at all. So like, there's a gasket there, there's one right here, there's one right here. Okay, there's nothing on the inside. What you want to do is lubricate these gaskets before you put them on here. Alright guys, we have our filter in and our gaskets in, so we can go ahead and install this real quick. Guys, so the car is back on the floor. I went ahead and put back the drain plug in the car and put back the panel, the underneath panel in the car, and just lowered it. So now we're gonna add some oil into the engine. Next, what you want to do before you start the engine up, before the oil runs through the engine to check and see if you need more oil, would be going back here and taking out the dipstick. Okay, so I'm not yet to the max line. I need to add a little bit more oil in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and add more oil till I reach the max line. Max is right over here. I'm gonna add about a quart in. As you add more oil, you just want to add a quart. Check, add another quart till you are exactly where you need to be. A little bit more. But since I started the car, I would have to wait a little bit for all the oil to run back down, and then I'll check again. That's if you do turn the car on, but you've got to turn it on so like the oil really goes through all the components, and then once everything drains back down, give it maybe a good 10 to 15 minutes, and then recheck the oil again, and then you should be good to go. Because if you need to put more in, you can put more in, and once you put more in, you should be good to go. So the final last thing you need to do is to reset the service interval on here. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So you see right there, it says service A exceeded by 71 days. That's what I'm gonna reset on here. I've got a scanner right here, so basically it's gonna do it for me. I believe you can manually do this. There are videos online where you can find them and you know, manually redo it yourself. All right, guys, well, this will be the end of the video. We went ahead and did the oil change on here, and everything is looking perfect on the dipstick. So I hope you guys learned something in this video. This is just a simple DIY job you can do at home. I think I went into details on what exactly to expect. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, take care.